You were never enough. My mother said that in front of the entire family at Thanksgiving dinner. And you know what I did? I smiled, pretended it was a joke, but inside, something shattered for good. I was 34 years old, 2 daughters, a marriage falling apart, and I'd been taking antidepressants in secret for 4 months. In that moment, I finally understood. I'd spent my entire life trying to prove my worth to people who had already decided I had none. And this is the story of how I almost died trying to be enough, and how I was reborn when I stopped trying. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You're not alone in this. And I'm going to prove it to you. To understand how I ended up at that dinner, I need to take you back to 1995. I was 7 years old. I remember perfectly the day I won my first trophy. Math competition at school. 3rd place out of 200 kids. I came home holding that golden trophy like it was the Super Bowl. My eyes were shining. My dad was watching the news. Dad! Dad! Look! He glanced over his shoulder. Cool. Go do your homework. My mom was cooking. 3rd place? Wait, were there only 3 competing? No, Mom. There were 200. Oh, well, at least you didn't come in last. Go wash your hands for dinner. I went to my room, put the trophy on top of my dresser, and cried. At 7 years old, I'd already learned, no matter what you do, you'll never be enough. But that was just the first time. The wound would only get deeper. My older brother was my opposite. Extroverted, athletic, popular at school. He was the family's pride. I was the quiet one, the good kid, the weird one who likes to read. At 10, I read 43 books in 1 year. I kept track on a little list. I was proud. I showed my mom, honey, stop locking yourself in your room with books and go play with the other kids. You need to be more normal. Normal. That word haunted me for 24 years. At 12, I had my first anxiety attack. Didn't know that's what it was at the time. Just knew my heart would race out of nowhere and I thought I was dying. I told my dad, that's nonsense. You're eating well, sleeping well? Then it's nothing. Go study. And I did. I always did. Obedient, well-behaved, swallowing everything. But your body doesn't forget. In high school, I reinvented myself. I decided that if I couldn't be loved, I'd be useful. I became the guy who helped everyone. The friend who listened to problems at 2 a.m. The one who lent money. Who did group projects alone. I thought that's how people would value me. But what happened? I became convenient. Not valued. Convenient. At 16, I fell in love for the first time. Jessica. Curly hair. Smile that lit up the room. I did everything for her for 8 months. Wrote notes. Carried her backpack. Helped with calculus. Until she started dating my best friend. To my face, she said, "You're really nice, but I don't know. You don't have personality, you know. You're kind of bland." Bland. Another word for the collection. I was 16 and had already learned 3 things. Never be yourself, always be useful, and even then, you'll never be enough. I threw my energy into academics. Got into the best technical college in the state, SAT score of 1420. Top 3% nationwide. I came home beaming. My mom had company over. "Mom, I got in. Top 3%. She smiled at her friends. "Yes, my son is studious. Not popular, doesn't have a girlfriend, but he's smart." To her friends, with pride. Later, alone with me. "Why not top 1%? You studied so hard." My dad wasn't even home. When he arrived, didn't even ask about the results. I locked myself in my room and cried again. But this time, I made a promise. One day I'll be so damn successful they'll have to acknowledge me. That promise almost killed me. At 19, I started college for business administration and got an internship. Woke up at 5 a.m., got home at 11 p.m. Weekends studying. Worked like a dog. Not because I loved it, but because I needed to prove myself. My first salary as full-time, $2,800. For me, in 2009, it was a lot. I called my dad, emotional. "Dad, I got hired full-time. I'll be making $2,800. "That's good. Remember to help your mom with the bills." It wasn't a congratulations. It wasn't an I'm proud of you. It was a demand. But I helped. I always helped. And I kept trying to impress. At 23, I got promoted to analyst. Salary of $4,200. Managed to rent my first apartment. I threw a housewarming barbecue. Invited my family. My brother arrived, looked around and said, "It's pretty small, huh? But for starters, it's okay." My mom, "You're going to live alone? Who's going to cook for you? Do your laundry?" "Mom, I will." "You don't know how to do any of that." My dad sat on the couch, turned on the TV, didn't compliment anything, didn't ask what I was paying, didn't say he was proud. That night, alone in my pretty small apartment, I drank half a bottle of whiskey and cried myself to sleep. It was around that time I met Sarah, and I thought finally someone would find me enough. Met her at a work happy hour, beautiful smile, intelligent, confident. She looked at me like I was interesting, like I mattered. I fell in love in 2 weeks. We dated for a year. I did everything. Everything. Surprises, dinners, trips. I dismantled myself to make her happy, because deep down, I was afraid. Afraid she'd discover I was bland, that I didn't have personality. So I compensated by being the perfect boyfriend. When I proposed, my mom said, "Are you sure? You can barely take care of yourself? You're going to take care of a wife?" I married her anyway. August 2013. My dad gave a speech at the wedding, talked about my brother, his achievements, and at the end said, "And Michael is here too, building his life in his own way." In his own way. Like it was the wrong way. The marriage was good, for a while. Until I realized I'd gotten married continuing to be useful, not being myself. My first daughter was born in 2015. Emma. When I held her for the first time, I swore to myself, "You'll know you're enough, always." I called my dad from the hospital, emotional. "Dad, she's here. It's a girl. You're a grandfather." "Oh, that's good. Send a picture. Is your mom there?" He passed the phone. My mom. "And Sarah, how is she?" "Good, tired, but... And you? Are you helping, or just getting in the way?" I hadn't even fully told her about the birth, and she was already diminishing me. But I didn't let that shake me. I had a daughter. I was going to be the father I never had. 3 years later, Olivia was born. 2 girls, my whole world. But the pressure was becoming unbearable. Sarah went back to work. I was being promoted to coordinator. Good salary, but responsibility tripled. I'd wake up at 5:30, help with the girls, work until 7, 8 p.m., get home, give them baths, put them to bed, clean the house. Weekends were groceries, bills, repairs, visiting family. I never stopped. I started having insomnia, would lie down at 11, stare at the ceiling until 2, 3 in the morning. The thought was always the same. You're not doing enough. And the more I tried to do, the less I could. I was falling into a hole, and no one noticed. At work, I started forgetting things. Meetings, deadlines. Me, who'd always been the organized one. My boss called me in. "Man, what's going on? This isn't like you." "I'm just... tired. It'll pass." At home, Sarah complained, "You don't listen to me anymore. I talk to you, and you're on autopilot." She was right. I was. My daughters, "Daddy, play with us." "Daddy's tired, sweetie, in a bit." But in a bit never came. I was becoming my father, and that terrified me. That's when I started having panic attacks. And that's when everything started to crumble. March 2022. Woke up at 3 a.m. with my heart racing. Cold sweat, couldn't breathe. Thought I was having a heart attack. Sarah took me to the ER. They ran all the tests. Heart was perfect. The doctor, "It was a panic attack. Do you have psychological support?" "No." "You need to get some. This will get worse if you don't treat it." I left there with a referral to a psychiatrist and therapist. Didn't tell anyone, not even my family, because I already knew what they'd say. Went to the psychiatrist in secret. She diagnosed me. Generalized anxiety disorder and signs of depression. Prescribed Zoloft 50 mg. I looked at the medication box at the pharmacy and thought, I failed. But I didn't fail. I was just sick, and sick people get treatment. But I didn't know that yet. Started treatment in secret. Took the pills when no one was looking. Went to therapy saying it was work meetings. Why? Shame? Shame of not being strong enough? Shame of needing help? Shame of being weak? At work, the situation got worse. Got written up for project delays. Then another for errors in reports. My boss called me again. Look, you're good, but I need you to get back to who you were. I couldn't explain that I was never who he thought I was. I'd always been a shell. At home, my marriage was cracking, not from lack of love, but because I'd become a ghost. Sarah tried to talk to me. I deflected. She tried to hug me. I stiffened. She cried in front of me 3 times in 1 month, and I couldn't cry back, couldn't feel. I was numb. In June, she said, "We need to talk. Seriously." We sat in the living room after putting the girls to bed. "I don't recognize you anymore. You're here, but you're not. The girls feel it. I feel it. I'm tired, Sarah. That's all." "It's not just that," she exploded. "You don't talk to me. You don't talk to anyone. You're blank, robotic. I'm scared of you." Scared? Scared of what you might do to yourself. Silence. "Have you thought about giving up?" I should have said no, but I stayed silent, and she understood. She cried, hugged me, and said, "Please, get help, please." I should have told her I was already in treatment, but I couldn't. Just nodded. I lost 25 pounds in 2 months. My beard grew out because I had no energy to shave. I was drowning, and still smiling at everyone. November 2022. My mom called. "Thanksgiving dinner at our place. Everyone's coming. You too." It wasn't an invitation. It was an order. "Sarah, do you want to go?" "No, but if I don't, it'll be worse." We arrived on the 24th, 6 p.m., house full. My brother with his new Tesla in the driveway. My sister had just been promoted to senior manager. Everyone celebrating. I was there, quiet, with my daughters on my lap. The table was set. Turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, Thanksgiving decorations, background music. My dad sat at the head, my mom on the other side. Conversations began. My brother talking about the promotion, the Tesla, the trip to Cabo he was taking. My sister about the new position, the raise, the projects. My sister-in-law about the house renovation. And me there, silent, pushing food around my plate. Until the attention turned to me, and I felt my stomach turn. My dad. "And you? How are things at work?" "They're going." My brother. "Going where, bro? You look like a homeless person with that beard." Laughter. My sister-in-law. "It's true. You need to take better care of yourself. You look like you don't sleep." "It's just that My mom. "He's always been sloppy, since he was little. Remember I had to stay on him to take a shower?" "Mom, I was 8 years old. And you're still the same way." More laughter. My sister trying to help. "And Sarah? How are you guys?" I looked at Sarah. She looked at me. "We're going through some adjustments." Silence. My dad. "Adjustments? What does that mean?" "It means I don't know, Dad. Working some things out." My brother. Oh, she cheating?" "No." My mom. "What then? Did you screw something up?" "I didn't do anything. We're just going through a moment." My dad. "Doesn't surprise me. You were never one to hold on to anything. Started karate, quit. Soccer, quit. Guitar, quit. Dad, I was 10 years old. And you still quit. It's in your nature." I felt a wave of heat rising. My breathing accelerated. But the worst was still to come. My mom grabbed more stuffing casually and said, "Sarah, poor thing. Must be hard, right? Putting up with him." Sarah. "It's not about putting up. No, you can say it. We know him. He's always been complicated, insecure, needy." My brother. "Spoiled too." My mom continued, "Yeah, he was never enough even for us, imagine for a wife and 2 kids." You were never enough. Everything stopped. Sarah looked at my mom, shocked. My sister looked down. My dad kept eating. And me? I smiled, grabbed my glass, took a sip of soda. My mom, laughing. What? It's true. He knows. We're just joking here, honey. Joking. 34 years of emotional pain summed up as joking. I stood up, said I was going to the bathroom, but what I did in there changed everything. I locked the bathroom door, looked at myself in the mirror. Messy hair, long beard, deep dark circles, gaunt face. I didn't recognize myself. And then, I collapsed. It wasn't a delicate cry. It was violent sobbing, guttural, desperate. I put my hand over my mouth to muffle it, but couldn't stop. 34 years. 34 years trying to be loved. 34 years proving worth. 34 years swallowing. All of it coming out at once. I sat on the floor, leaned against the wall, and panicked. Racing heart, blurred vision, can't breathe. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. Texted Marcus, my only real friend. Man, I think I'm dying. 30 seconds later, he called. Where are you? I couldn't speak. Just sobbed. Breathe. You're having a panic attack. Breathe with me. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. He stayed with me for 8 minutes. On the phone, guiding me. When I could speak, I said, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't. Where are you? At my mom's. Thanksgiving dinner. I'm coming to get you. Send me the location. Marcus, send me the location. I sent it. I washed my face, looked at myself in the mirror again, and made the hardest decision of my life. I was going to speak up. For the first time in 34 years, I was going to tell the truth. I went back to the table. Everyone laughing, talking, like nothing had happened. Sarah looked at me worried, saw my red eyes. I grabbed my backpack. My dad. Leaving already? Yeah. My mom. But you barely ate. And dessert? I took a deep breath. You guys know I've been struggling for months. Silence. You just don't care. My brother. Man, what are you? Let me finish. My voice came out firm. For the first time. I've been in treatment for anxiety and depression for 9 months. I take controlled medication. I go to therapy. Lost 25 pounds. Had 3 panic attacks. My marriage is falling apart. My mom. Why didn't you say? Because you never listened, I shouted. My daughters got scared. Sarah picked them up. Sorry, girls. Sorry. But Daddy needs to speak. I looked at my mom. I won a trophy at 7. You didn't even keep it. I got into top 3% nationwide. You asked why I wasn't top 1%. I got my first job. You told me to help with bills. I got married. You doubted me. Had daughters. You criticized me. Tears falling. And today, you said I was never enough. In front of my wife, my daughters, everyone. My mom. I didn't mean it. It was just joke. It wasn't a joke, my voice cracking. It was cruelty, disguised as honesty, as joking. But it was cruelty. I looked at my dad. And you never did anything. Never defended me. Never said you were proud. Never said I was enough. He opened his mouth, closed it, said nothing. I spent 34 years believing the problem was me, that I was defective, insufficient. I grabbed my backpack. But the problem isn't me. It never was. My mom started crying. Son, I need time away from you guys. I don't know how long, but I need it. I left. Didn't hug anyone. Didn't say Happy Thanksgiving. Just left. Sarah ran after me with the girls. I'm coming with you. And that was the last night I spent being who they wanted. From then on, I was going to discover who I was. Marcus picked me up. Took me, Sarah, and the girls home. Stayed with me until 5 a.m. Just listening. The next day, I called my therapist. Doubled the sessions. Tuesday and Friday. A week later, I sat down with Sarah. Real talk. No masks. I hid from you that I was in treatment. Out of shame. I thought you'd think I was weak. She cried. I've been waiting for you to open up for 3 years. I saw you drowning and didn't know how to help. We decided to do couples therapy. In 3 months, a painful decision. We couldn't stay married anymore. But we could continue being partners, parents, friends. We separated in March 2023. It was sad, but it was liberating. I cut contact with my family for 6 months, blocked them, didn't respond, didn't show up for birthdays. It was the most painful and most necessary period of my life. I learned to cook, learned to be alone, learned to cry without shame. My therapist gave me an assignment. Write a letter to yourself at 7. I wrote, "You are enough. You always were. The trophy was beautiful. You were brilliant. And you'll survive, I promise." I cried for 2 hours after writing that. In the 4th month, my brother texted me, "Bro, we messed up. I'm sorry." I didn't respond yet. In the 6th month, my mom called. I answered. She was crying. "Son, I'm so sorry. I never realized. I thought it was normal. It's how I was raised. But that's no excuse. It's not. Can you forgive me? Not yet. But maybe someday. Today, in 2024, I have joint custody. I'm present. For real. I'm enjoying work again. Got promoted. I do therapy religiously. I take my medication without shame. I'm talking to my mom again. With clear boundaries. My dad still hasn't apologized. And that's okay. I don't need it anymore. And most importantly, I learned that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the bravest thing a man can do. If you made it this far, I want to tell you something. It doesn't matter how many times they told you that you're not enough. It doesn't matter how many times you swallowed the pain. It doesn't matter how long you've been carrying this alone. You are enough. Men cry, men break, men get sick. And that doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you human. Get help. Go to therapy. Take medication if you need to. Talk to someone, a friend, a professional, but talk. Because your life is worth it, and you're not alone. If this story touched you, hit that like button. Share it with a brother who needs to hear this. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week I bring real stories from real men. And leave in the comments which phrase impacted you the most. See you in the next one. And remember, you've always been enough.